Hey guys, my name is Laurel. I know I look kind of crazy right now. I wanted to do just an eye makeup tutorial, so I did my whole base, concealer, set it, and eyebrows, so that's why I look kind of crazy right now. But I wanted to do a natural look tonight. Hanging out with some friends, so nothing too crazy, but like kind of glam, but more of a natural look. So let's get started. Okay, so I zoomed in so you guys could see a little better. I'm going to start off with the Jaclyn Hill palette with Morphe, her Morphe collab. This isn't the only palette I'll be using because I'm extra like that, but we are going to start there. I'm going to be using Silk Cream as my first shade, and we're going to take this on a Morphe R37 brush. The fact that I knew that and I didn't even look. Oh gosh. So you're just gonna take like 2 dabs, tap it off, and then you're going to put it in your crease. I apologize because my mirror is behind the camera, so I'm not looking at you guys. I will be looking behind you. But you just want to lay this down as a base. And before this, I set my eyes with concealer and setting powder. A lot of people do primer. It's whatever you prefer. Okay, so my first layer of base is down with that eyeshadow. And then I know I look a little crazy right now, but I carved out my eyebrows with translucent setting powder. And then I used a straight edge sponge right here, and I just tapped it to where I didn't want any of my eyeshadow to go. So if you want more of like an oval look at the end of your eye, then you don't need to do this, but I like a sharp look. I just think it looks more clean. But it all depends like what you're doing for like what occasion you're doing. So if you want more of a just like a smoked out look, then definitely skip this step. So I'm gonna look a little crazy for the rest of the video, but yeah, this is how I carve out like what eye shape I want for the night. Okay, next step is I'm going to take the eyeshadow called Pukey because it literally looks like a puke brown. I'm going to take that same brush, R37 from Morphe, and deepen up my crease. So I'm going to go in the same spot, but I'm not going to bring it up as high as I did the first shadow because you want it to look like an ombre effect on your eye. You don't want it to be super dense and only like your whole eyelid. You want it to look like it's going from darker to lighter. So you always want to keep your darker shadows on your eyelid and in the inner crease. And what I'm doing is I'm just tapping the eyeshadow on and then swirling it around. You can do circle motions all across, and I'm putting this mostly on my whole lid. And then as you can see, like it's going into the translucent powder. That's gonna happen, so you just wanna take that sponge again or your angled brush and re-stamp it. I'm gonna do that for this one too. Okay, next we're going to deepen up your crease. I am taking the shadow Mocha and the Jaclyn Hill palette still with a Morphe M506. I'm glad I don't have that one memorized. And you're just gonna keep this very close to your lid. I'm gonna be tapping it on to where I want it, and then I'm gonna be using your circular motions to blend it in. And you always want to start with a little. You don't want to pick up too much on your brush because it's harder to take off product than it is to add product. So when you first apply, you want to tap it on to the closest to the eyelid and then bring it sideways and up. And what I like to do after I do that, I like to take the previous brush that I just used and go over it. No one likes a unblended eyeshadow, or like where you can see like where the colors aren't meshing together. So this helps mesh it all together really well. Okay, I'm gonna go do the other eye off camera. Okay, so now we have our crease darkened, the shadows blended. Next, I'm going to carve out my crease. I also added some translucent powder underneath my eyes to help with fallout, because you don't want any of your shadows to get on your foundation base, and then you're gonna have to redo it. So what you want to do is take any concealer. I'm taking ColourPop in the color Light 20 and a flat edge brush, pretty small. You can actually skip this step altogether, like if you're in a rush and don't have time. But since I do have the time, I will be carving out my crease. This took me the longest time to learn, and I'm still not very good at it, to be honest. It's just like hard figuring out what your eye shape looks best at in pictures and in person. So I just dampened my brush, or like put the concealer on my brush, as you can see, and then you want to put the crease where your eyelid closes. So like when you're opening your eye, you want to do it right where it closes as well. So if you close it, it's going to be higher than what it normally is. So that little crease is where I'm going to start. And so I just take the brush down to get a starting point, and then you can kind of go to town since you know where you're going to be starting. Sorry, I just realized I can't talk and do this at the same time. And you just want to make like a half circle on your eye. The reason people do this is because if you have a glitter shadow, it sticks to a sticky base better than just on your eyelid. It can still work, but it is better when it's sticky. And then you kind of just want to blend that in to your eyeshadow. It looks kind of weird when you don't have anything on, but it looks just like a little half circle. And you want to make it a round edge. And then kind of pat it down. Okay, so now that we have our cut crease on, we are going to take the glitter shadow that I'm going to be applying, and this time I'm going to be using Life's a Drag. It's the Manny MUA palette. His line is called Lunar Beauty. I love his stuff. This one, actually, the shadow that I'm going to use does have quite a bit of fallout though, so I'm going to redo my translucent powder to make sure this color doesn't get on to my foundation. And you want to apply this with the same type of brush. I'm going to use the Morphe M421. It's the same flat brush, just not the one with the concealer on it. And then you're going to want to take some spray. I take the MAC Fix Plus. You can take whatever spray you want. You just want to spray it a couple times. It gets the brush wet and it picks up the eyeshadow better. And then you want to go to town. So I'm going to be using the shade Legendary from his palette. This is what his palette looks like. I'm going to be using this gold shade. And how you want to do this is you just want to pat it down a little bit. And then when you are applying, you don't want to smear, you want to tap. And you can already see that it's going down on my foundation, so I'm glad I put more translucent powder down. But it's more bright, as you can see, with concealer than just on my eyelid. And then when you need more, you do the same thing. So you're going to pat it down. And everywhere you put concealer, you're going to put the gold eyeshadow. Okay, so since we have our crease on with our gold color, we're going to take that same brush, the Morphe M506, the packing brush, and go back to that mocha color from the Jaclyn Hill palette. And remember, we don't want very much because it is a darker color. And we want to bring it up to that gold color and blend it out. I should really talk before I try to do this because apparently I can't multitask. Okay, so now that we have everything blended out, we're going to want to remove the bake. So you just want to take any soft, fluffy brush and then start swiping away your translucent powder. And as you can see, there's the sharp line. And this also helps you contour, making your under eye brighter. And then now we're going to do the under eye. So I'm going to go back to the Jaclyn Hill palette and use the shade Pukey, the puke brown color. That's why it's called Pukey. And then I'm going to take it on a Morphe E18 and start going and like applying it kind of like eyeliner, but more sloppy. I just want this all underneath my under eye. Now that we have that color all around, we're going to take Mocha, which is the color in our very inner crease. And you want to take very little amount of this. And we're just going to focus on the outer part of our eye. Since Mocha is on the top of our eye in the crease, in the outer crease, we want it to do the same. We don't want to put this everywhere underneath the eye. But we do want to make these two colors go together and flow. And I'm just mashing this up with the line that I created already. So if you guys wanted to put mascara on and call it a day, this look would look great. I want to add a little more dimension, so I'm going to take a black eyeshadow from the Jaclyn Hill palette and put it on like not a pencil brush, but basically an eyeliner brush. I don't like using black eyeliner because it scares me. So I just like taking eyeshadow, stamping it, and then I know this is gonna look weird, but I stamp it underneath my eyelid, underneath my lashes. I'm sure I look very weird doing this. But it looks kind of like you just have some black eyeliner on. It's not too much where it's really thick, but it does give your eyes some dimension. This technique is also really good for putting lashes on, because the stripped or the band on the lashes can be thick sometimes, and so you can tell when where the false lashes are and your regular lashes are, and this actually helps them blend together a lot better. Okay, so I just applied the black eyeshadow everywhere, and then I also added white eyeliner in my water eye. And you're probably thinking like, what the heck, why? A lot of makeup artists do this to open up your eye so it doesn't look so like smoky and cloudy, and you don't notice it unless you point it out. But yeah, I'm going to apply mascara and then I will be right back. So mascara is on. I used Arbonne's It's a Long Story mascara. Absolutely love this stuff. Next, we're going to finish up the face. That includes bronzer, blush, and highlighter, and then lipstick. First, we're going to contour, and that I'm going to use the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette for that. I'm going to be taking this shade in the middle to do so. And then I'm going to be using Morphe's R14 brush. I just take a little bit, tap it off, and then start circling it into my cheeks. You always want to start darker, the closer to your ear, and then move downward. You don't want to put a lot of product on your cheek. Then you kind of look like smoky, and it doesn't blend very well. I wanted to say you want to look more natural, but I'm putting a lot of makeup on, so obviously I'm not going to look natural, but you don't want very harsh lines on your face. And I'm going to put this into my hairline, which is going to be a little weird, but you don't want to have two different skin tones from your hairline to your face. So you just want to swirl that around. So next is you want to contour your nose. I don't have a good brush to contour your nose. This just works for me. It doesn't even have a label on it. No idea what company. I'm sure you can get another Morphe brush to do this, but this is what I use. And you just want to start on the bridges of your nose, bring it up to your eyebrow. It's for some dimension on your nose. Super easy. So next on the list is blush. I'm going to be using a Morphe palette for this. It has a lot of colors, a lot of choices, deeper plums, lighter pinks. I'm going to be using the shade Free, which is this third one, on a E4 brush. It's an angled brush. And then I'm going to put this right above the contour that I put down. So it meshes in with the brown. So now onto one of the very last steps, and it's highlight. So this is my favorite step. It just brings everything together. You can always go overboard on this and have a popping highlight, or you can go more of a natural look. I'm going to go towards the more popping highlight tonight. I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star 24 karat palette. I'm going to use the first shade, the lightest shade. And I'm going to start with my inner corner. So this is a Morphe M213. It's very tiny because you're going to be putting it in a tiny place. And I'm just going to put this all over my inner corner. And then the same on the other side. I don't know what it is, but this brings an eye look together. Now to apply the highlight to your cheeks, I'm going to be dipping it in the first and second. So I'm going to be mixing it because I am a little too tan for the first shade only. So I'm going to add some gold in there from the second shade to match my eyeshadow look. Like, how can you not like applying highlight? This is my fave. And I always go to town on my nose highlight, and I'm sure I look really weird doing that. And then the upper lip. The chin, and then I like to do a little bit of above the brow for some dimension. You don't have to do this, but I don't mind a shiny forehead. Okay, so now it's time for lipstick. I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star Androgyny color. I'm going to apply this and be right back. So lipstick is on, and to the final step, a fun one, is the setting spray. I use the Morphe continuous setting spray. So here is my final look, guys. It's more of a natural glam, definitely not too much, but you can definitely tell you put some makeup on. I do want to say a big thank you for watching. This is a big deal to me. I've always wanted to be a YouTuber, and I let my self-doubts and anxiety get in the way. So thank you for even clicking on this video and watching it. It does mean a big deal to me, and hopefully I'll be posting a lot more soon. I have a lot of videos already, so I just need to get over it and do it. Thanks. Until next time, guys.